Of ShareLove.Fund, and this is our week 4 of guided coursework for the free RYT 200 for our teacher trainees and our Lotus leaders. And now let us begin with a review of what we talked about last time. But before we do that, let's get into a nice comfortable seated position. So you do not need your manual. I'm going to talk about it while we're stretching so that you get all the goodness of our coursework, but you also get to serve your body at the same time. If you have not done so already, please feel free to get a water and use this time to hydrate and nourish. And at the very least, this can be a time at the end of your day to serve your body. I'm gonna put on our light. This is a very special gift from one of our program graduates, Cleo Byrne, who is now a ShareLove.Fund instructor and doing an incredible job and has a specialty in breath work. And she was kind enough to give me this light for my birthday. It's a very cool salt light. Anyway, so we'll take a few moments to do the stretches that we've talked about before. You can stretch side to side while I talk a little bit about the coursework. You can lean forward. You don't need to just sit while I talk. Please, I encourage you to move and kind of start to loosen up your body. So while you're loosening up your body, I'm going to do this hip stretch, and you're welcome to join me or do a stretch of your own. So each time we meet, I'm going to review a little bit so that you don't have to do any of the materials on your own time. The point of joining the guided sessions is everything you need to know will be in these guided sessions, in addition to the playlist and in addition to the paperwork, either that you're accessing via Google Drive or via Teachable. So this is our RYT 200 course manual, and in it is everything you need to know, and we also have the handout section. So last time we talked about, 2 times ago, we talked about handout 9A, which was the sun salutation, and we will go through that and review that. And then last session we talked about handout 9B, and we did Easy Seat Sukhasana. And this week, the focus of our class will be the second page, which is cat-cow. So each week, we will discuss a new pose, and then we will do a sequence every 10th week to review the 9 poses we've learned before. There's 45 core poses in our ShareLove.Fund teaching methodology, and by the end of 52 weeks, you will have studied all the 45 poses, plus Sun Salutation A, plus you will get the benefit of sequencing, philosophy, anatomy. We worked on how to write your own meditation last week, and all the parts of the yoga teacher training will be woven into the structure of a pose a week. So with this, now if you were doing the stretch like I was, we'll go and continue the stretch on the other side. And we'll just take a few breaths together to regroup. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel yourself elevating with your inhale, your head rising up as if there's a string to the ceiling, elongating your spine. And with your exhale, you can think about releasing all that doesn't serve you. We'll inhale our arms up and exhale with a twist. Now, if you are pregnant, this is not the video for you. This is geared for non-pregnant people. Twists are not safe for pregnancy. Laying on your stomach is not safe. Laying on your back too long is not safe. So if you are pregnant, I recommend watching another video or modifying and not doing the twist. So here we will just twist. You can take your eyes to follow the back of the room and breathing. We're going to take 3 breaths here in this twist and see if by the 3rd breath you release a little bit more, a little deeper into the stretch. We'll lift our arms up and we'll twist to the other side, really grounding our sits bones into the mat. You can put your shoulders up and drop them down just to really be cognizant, is there any tension? And we'll hold this for 3 more breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You can use your eyes to go to the back of the room, in your nose and out your mouth. And 1 more. We're going to shake it out and then do the twist on the other side. Arms up and over. Trying to think of your hips as just spreading out. You can move your neck all the way around. And 1 more breath. With a big inhale, arms up, and we'll twist on this side. Just sinking into it a little more. We'll come back to a butterfly pose. And we talked about one class opening up our feet like a book. And this helps when we try to open up our feet a little bit. This helps our hips open up. And you can try to lean forward a little bit and kind of play around with that hip mobility. If anything hurts, then please modify it so it doesn't. Yoga is supposed to feel good, and there's a difference between getting relief from a stretch and pulling a muscle. So sharp shooting pain is never good. Nothing herein shall be construed as medical advice. That's our medical disclaimer. And when you have pain on one side and not the other, that is usually a sign of an injury going to happen, and that is not good, so ease up. You can always go into child's pose, which we talked about. And I will just demonstrate quickly. Child's pose, you're down, put your head down, or you can have a wide-legged child's pose. You can have your head down or your arms up. So that's child's pose, but we will stay in cobbler for a moment and do some stretches, opening up that rib cage, trying to keep our back parallel to the wall behind us. And here we can go to one side and then slowly walk our hands all the way around as a half circle, breathing into it as you go. So one of the interesting things you can do is you can try to do a stretch without paying attention to your breath, and then try to do that same stretch paying attention to your breath and see if you feel the difference. So we can try this together now. So we'll come back up, and this time we will breathe and do a half circle, and then we will breathe and do the half circle back, and then we'll kind of just do the half circle, not paying attention to breath, and you'll have to let me know if you feel a difference. Okay, so inhale and exhale to the side. Inhale and exhale to reach deeper into this corner. With an inhale, we can walk our hands to 12 o'clock, and exhale, let it all out. We can inhale, walk our hands to 11 o'clock, exhale, and inhale to 9 o'clock, and exhale into it. Let's try it again. I'm coming back. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale about 1 o'clock. Inhale and exhale to 3 o'clock. Okay, so now let's try the same thing, and we won't talk about breath, and you'll just see what your body naturally does and see if you feel a difference. You might find that your body naturally is taking deep breaths and releasing during the stretch, and if that happens, you're ahead of the game. Okay. So now we're just stretching, no particular attention to the breath. And you can observe, does this make it easier or harder, or is it the same? And we'll go around up to the other side. And you can see if you felt a difference. So I find that when we use our breath, we can get a deeper stretch. I also find that when we apply our breath, then we get our breath to work for us a little bit so that we don't have to work so much ourselves. And so it helps us conserve energy and use the forces already within us to optimize the results. With this, I'm going to invite you to inhale and exhale, and you can come up to standing any which way that feels comfortable. So what we're going to do now is we are going to review Sun Salutation A from 2 classes ago, and through reviewing and repetition, it helps us remember all the poses, and this is a great way to learn the poses and learn the postures without having to open up the textbook. We're going to be kinesthetic learners and learn by doing and learn by repetition. And this works really well for our incarcerated women's program because there's a lot of tension, and it's nice to be able to get a vocational training degree without having to take tests and study, and just have the doing be the practice. So we'll start with Sun Salutation, if you recall. So we start in mountain pose, feet hip width apart, grounding our toes into the mat, feeling roots beneath us. And one of the things I like to remind our incarcerated women is when everything has been taken away from you, the ground is still beneath you to support you. And you'll always have the ground, and you're not free falling. And that is a small thing, but that's something to be thankful for. And when you're having one of those days where it's really hard to think of one thing to be thankful for, and it's really hard to feel gratitude, on those days you can have gratitude that the ground is beneath you to support you, and that you're not free falling. And that's a small thing to be thankful for. So we are in mountain pose. The next pose in Sun Salutation A is upward salute. We'll inhale our arms up. So yoga is a lot about opposites. So here we are focusing on our tips of our fingers, trying to touch the ceiling, but also trying to keep our shoulders down. From here, we will exhale and do a forward fold. Now let's spend some time in this because we're warming up. If you feel lightheaded, then please feel free to exit the pose. You can put your hands on your hips or however's comfortable. But the idea, you can even hold onto your elbows so that you don't feel like judging yourself. It doesn't matter if you can touch the mat or not. And the idea is to get a release. The idea is that you're the customer and this is to serve you. And being in a competition doesn't really make anyone feel good, except when that competition is within yourself and setting personal goals and accomplishing them and feeling intrinsic satisfaction. So in this, we'll hold onto our elbows and we'll just breathe. We can rock back and forth. And we're just gonna stay here a while and see if we drop down a little lower and try to release. And you can ask yourself, what am I holding on to? What will happen if I just let go? What am I afraid of? And you can ask yourself, what would you do if you had no fear? What decisions would you make if you weren't afraid? And are those decisions rooted in an aspiration to be productive? Or are those decisions a reaction to maybe what someone has done to you? And what if all your decisions were in furtherance of your personal goals? What if you didn't bother yourself with revenge or jealousy? What if you just focused on building your strongest, best self? And don't you deserve to use all your energy for you? Other people don't get to have your energy on those bad feelings. That energy belongs to you, and you can use that energy that might have been used on bad feelings towards others. You can use that energy to build yourself up and invest in yourself. So with this, we'll lean a little forward and back. And you can think of your toes as hands grabbing onto the mat. They say like monkeys can balance because they use their feet as hands and they actually grab on. So your feet aren't just flat. Your feet are actually active. They're just grabbing on. And we'll just relax and hang. And enjoy the stillness and the space we're creating in stillness. There's an expression, a race to nowhere, and sometimes we're uncomfortable holding positions so long. But where are we racing to? If you have a little bit more flexibility and you want to put your hands under your feet, this can be a good wrist stretch. And just letting go, elongating your hamstrings, reversing the blood flow to your head. Trying to get your tailbone to point to the sky. Noticing where it feels tight. Confronting that feeling of, oh man, I have to get out of this. And asking yourself, why is stillness terrifying sometimes? Why are we so eager to move even when we don't know where we're moving? What would happen if we just stayed still and observed? With this, we can take a breath in and do a half bend. And then we exhale and we can come back to plank. From plank, we have our hands underneath our shoulder, flat back, engaging our legs, squeezing our thighs inward, soft gaze ahead, trying to release tension in our neck. Then we can chaturanga, knees, chest, chin, and come up to cobra. In cobra, we can relax our shoulders, build strength in our back, and push up to downward dog. In downward dog, we can pedal out our feet a little bit to one side or the other, and just really continue the stretch of our hamstrings. We can lean a little bit to one side or the other to try to get a deeper stretch. If we can bend our knees to really feel that tailbone reaching to the sky, and then slowly straighten, trying to keep the tailbone in that same position. And let's just breathe here. Noticing the tight spots and releasing. As a yoga teacher trainee, we call this holding postures or holding poses. And from downward dog, we can step up with one leg and then step up with another leg and come back to mountain. So we'll do that again, and we'll step up with the opposite leg this time so that we get a nice evenness in our body. So now we'll do it with a little bit more fluidity. Inhale, arms up to upward salute, and exhale and drop it down to forward fold. Inhale to half bend or forward fold, and exhale to plank. Inhale to knees, chest, chin, and exhale to cobra. Inhale to downward dog. Trying to get the tailbone up, and this time we'll bring our other leg to our chest, step it forward through our hands, and come back up to mountain. So that is our second round of the sun salutation. And now we're going to do the sun salutation 3 times in a row and just get used to it. And then that will be 5 sun salutations to start our class today. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, we can jump back into plank. From plank, we'll do knees, chest, chin, and inhale to cobra. Exhale to downward dog, and tightening our stomach, we can jump back with our hands between our feet between our hands. Inhale and mountain. So that was the first, then arms up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, we jump back to plank. Inhale, knees, chest, chin. Exhale, cobra. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, and now we're back. So we'll do it again, second time. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, plank. Inhale, knees, chest, chin. Exhale, cobra. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, come up. So this will be our last time, and you can focus on using your breath or getting into your own rhythm. You can do this at your own pace. So good job. Now, I hope you feel more comfortable with sun salutation A. And as we continue to repeat that each week, it will come naturally. This is not just a yoga class. This is a class to train you to be a Yoga Alliance certified teacher trainer. And I want you to have the confidence that you could teach a class today if you needed to, just by doing sun salutations the whole time. Some classes just do sun salutations. There's a lot of variations, or there's something to be said for the meditative benefits of doing simple repetition. So with what we've done, that could be repeated for an entire hour, and that is a way to learn the sun salutations. So now let's talk about the pose of the week. So last week, we did easy seat, and we talked about the benefits of easy seat. That, well, first of all, it's comfortable and it's often used for meditation and to find stillness and to feel grounded. Sometimes the days go by so fast. You have a million assignments with work or school, and it's easy to lose sight of what your goals are, and it's easy just to be reactive, to do what everybody else is asking of you, but not actually check in and ask yourself, how does this align with what my personal goals and objectives are? So taking a seat, an easy seat, is a way to have us check in. In earlier classes, we talked about palms up versus palms down. In the yoga world, sometimes it's thought of with palms up as being open and receptive to the world and trying to draw energy inward from the external world. And sometimes I like to think of palms down as really focusing on yourself. Sometimes it serves us to set boundaries, to be a little more closed and selective, a little more choosy onto who we listen to and who we let into our lives. And when we meditate with our palms down, it reminds us of that focus on us. One of the advantages of palms up that I like is that it causes shoulder rotation, and sometimes this helps us get into a more comfortable posture. We also talked about last class how the back has a natural curve. It naturally curves in, the lumbar spine. It naturally curves out by the shoulder blades. And so this idea of, oh, I need good posture, that actually can cause a lot of strain. So I like to think about posture not from the shoulders down, but from the tailbone up. So by leaning forward and back, by doing some circles, and we'll do some of these together. By doing these circles and loosening up, we'll find that at the end, when we sit up straight, our back just finds its natural, more comfortable alignment. So let's take some breaths, and we'll do circles 3 times one way and 3 times the other. And you can do it at your own pace, so don't feel tied to my pace. What is going to serve you most is having connectiveness with your own self and using this as an opportunity to connect with your breath, connect with what feels sore. These are all things that will empower you. So we can inhale and exhale. Inhale to the side and exhale. We'll do that again the second time. And one of the things, for the third time, one of the things I also like to recommend is when you have an opportunity to sit on the floor, do so, because we get really tight hamstrings sitting in a chair. Now we'll go on the other side. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And we'll do it again. And one more time. We'll come back to easy seat and we'll use this as an opportunity to stretch our neck, where we often have so much tension. You can use a hand here or just the weight of your own head. And we can do a roll to the front. Just breathing and letting your neck fall. Feeling the connection between your neck and back and shoulders. And to the other side. Noticing if one side is more tense. And now we're going to do this really slowly. So we'll go very slowly to one side and then the other, and you can go at your own pace. But really try to keep this stretch, except if it hurts you, then move. But just keep the stretch until you feel your body's natural release. And then when you feel your body has released some tension, then you can move your head more across the different points of the semicircle. So as we're stretching to the side, think about grounding your hip into the ground. You know, we don't want to lean forward. Think about having your shoulders square and just letting your neck go. The ligaments, while there's tension, they're also there to support you. So we're grateful for these tensions because it keeps us safe. If we didn't have any tightness, then our neck we could have a spinal injury. So these tensions keep us safe, but then sometimes the tensions can lead to discomfort and sleep discomfort. So it's a balance. So we want to release the over-tension, but still be grateful that there is some tension. And this can also shape your attitude. A lot of people, they don't like to stretch because they say, oh, I'm not limber, I don't like to stretch. But if you think about your tightness as protecting you, you know, if I can't put my arm all the way back, I'm also not dislocating my shoulder. So all of our tightness is also a protection. So having gratitude for that tightness. Releasing the excess tightness and having gratitude that it's better to be a little tight than to have injury. So here we're working in opposites. Our head is stretching to one side while we're trying to keep our shoulder down and feeling the stretch all along our neck and how it connects to the shoulder. Yoga gives us a chance to get in touch with our anatomy. And for our 10th grade high school leaders who are taking biology, this can be a great way to kinesthetically learn what they're learning in the classroom. And we can try to tie in other disciplines as yoga teachers, which you are all going to be. So through meditation, you can teach about history. If you're teaching youth that are enrolled in a history class, you can talk about seeing the pyramids in Egypt and the rainforest in Costa Rica, and have a geography lesson. We're going to now rotate on the other side. And just take this at your own pace, feeling the tightness, holding the poses unless it hurts, and just trying to get a release. They say easy come, easy go. And while stretching is slow and maybe boring to some, the effects are lasting. You'll also see the cumulative benefits of yoga, how a little bit every day can really make a big impact on how you feel and how you sleep, how you digest food. By moving slower, we reduce the fight or flight. We can help reduce anxiety, lower our cortisol, which can help with weight loss. And really come back to that fundamental of less is more. Quality over quantity. In an earlier class, we talked about eye exercises, and when we're at the computer all day, that can affect our peripheral vision, especially for our high school leaders studying all the time and then socializing on electronics. So you can use your finger to guide your eyes to stretch, and this helps increase peripheral vision. So that was our review of Sun Salutation A, which was week 2, and Easy Seat, which was week 3. And so now we're going to turn to handout 9B. And the second pose in handout 9B is cat-cow. So we're going to go through cat-cow, which is so important for spinal flexibility. And then we're going to do a sequence where we really focus on cat-cow. So, as you may recall, because we did it our first class, cow, cat. So in cat-cow, we can really loosen up our spine, leaning to one side and the other. You might hear some cracks. We'll inhale and exhale. Here we can rock back and forth a little bit. And you might notice each time we do this, it just feels as tight as it was at first. But when we hang in these poses a little longer, it loosens up. So we'll do some rotations like this. This is also really good for prenatal. And this is something that we can do every day, little by little. And it really just works the whole back. So we'll inhale and exhale, falling deeper, feeling the belly button drop to the ground, releasing tension in our shoulder blades. And inhale, almost like if the belly button is in a string with the top of the back, pulling to the ceiling. And now that string is going to pull back to the mat. And inhale. And exhale. We'll do another rotation and see if we feel any different. Releasing the tightness in the corners. Being aware, is one side tighter than the other? Now we can do the rotation on this side. And inhale. So for cat-cow, what links really nicely with cat-cow is table and also pushing up into downward dog. When we're in downward dog, what links nicely is to do a lunge, like warrior one. Sorry, I'm slipping all over the place. Warrior two, open. And we can get a really nice heart opening stretch here. Now for this, we don't want to dump into this leg. It's just like something so the arm is not flopping around, but the idea is that our core is tight. So we should be able to balance ourselves without the hand. Letting go of the neck tension and reaching it over. Straightening and coming back for relief. If we find relief as we're moving, instead of just stopping, if we just switch poses to get relief, then we can stay active for longer and stretch different parts of our body. So we'll do that again. When we come up, we're going to turn it around and do it on the other side. So we have warrior one, opening up to warrior two, stretching, and really feeling the heart open. It's we're going to try to basically get this whole side to the ceiling. Yoga is a practice, not a perfect. It's about setting personal goals and seeing your progress, and not about comparing to others. And we can stretch like this. From here, we can have a big inhale and an exhale. If this is too much, you can have a block to lean on. I don't like to teach so much with props because I don't want anyone to feel like they need certain equipment or things to be successful. All you need is your own self. Yoga is about your own body weight, so you can put your hands on your hips. If you have like a wall or something like this, you can lean on that. And leaning on something is not, here I can lean with my buddy here, leaning on something is not cheating. Actually, when you lean like this, you really allow yourself to release the tension in your shoulders and get a deeper stretch. So everything has a benefit. You know, even when we do Savasana, which is corpse pose or laying on our back, even that's a benefit because we get to relax. So anyway, so if you want to lean on something, you can. Otherwise, we're just going to hang forward. This wide-legged straddle, fold. And just like we spent some time in forward fold, we're going to spend some time here. Let gravity work for us. Gravity has broken plates and glasses in our lives. So now let gravity give back to us and help us with our stretch. Gravity is our partner here. If you feel lightheaded, come back to child's pose. We're just going to hang out here for a while and see if we fall a bit deeper into the stretch, into the release. We can ask ourselves, why am I working so hard to hold on to something? You can put your hands on your elbow and sway a little. To the extent you feel safe and balanced, you can roll forward and back. You can bend your knees a little bit to stay stable. And just feel with each breath your body dropping down an inch, letting go of tension. You can think of tension and worries and fears as marbles stuffed in your pocket. And what if you just cut a hole in your pocket? And what if you just let it all fall out? What would happen? What are you afraid of? By really getting in touch with your fears, you can become a master of yourself. And that is the road to self-optimization. When you have self-optimization, you feel more in control. It allows you to not feel anger towards others. So when you have control, there's no resentment. You're focused on building yourself, and you're using your energy to propel yourself forward. From here, we can walk our hands to one side. If it feels better, you can hold on to a leg. And the idea is we're just going to stretch the obliques here. Also stretches the hamstring. And we're just going to focus on our breath. Each breath we can think of like a balloon. And we can think of that balloon as going into the tightest spot, getting really big so it's intense. And then as we exhale, the balloon shrinks and there's a little more space. Walk our hands to the front and do it on the other side, coming up if that feels easier. Noticing the difference on each side. Letting your body sink into it. Using your breath to create space where there is no space. Reminding yourself that you always have your breath and you can control your breath. And through breath work practice, we can get better at controlling our breath. And by controlling our breath, we can control our mood. And by controlling our mood, we can respond rather than react, respond and not react. And by being less impulsive, we get ourselves into less trouble, and we can spend more time building positive things for ourselves than dealing with the trouble we got ourselves into. With this, we'll come back to center, and with a breath, we'll put our arms up, and then we'll exhale and we'll come to squat. A squat is a really great pose. If it hurts your knees, don't do it. You can modify, you can come back to cobbler, opening your feet as a book. But in squat, it's important to engage the core. We're not dumping. We're trying to be tall. The feet are flat on the mat, not like this. And as we continue to do squat, feel your tailbone dropping to the ground, your head pulling up. So again, this is the opposites of yoga. Remembering to breathe. And this is something, humans were made to squat for long periods of time, but as Americans, we don't spend much time in the squat. So some of these poses, because we sit in a chair so much, which is sort of a modern construction, some of these poses feel really hard. And we're introducing our bodies to get familiar with positions that we were sort of made to do. You can breathe into the tight sections, and we can stretch and stretch. Using our core, we can try to lift up and let our hands down. And we'll go back into cat-cow, which is our pose of the week, and see how that feels now. We can lean into it different ways and stretch. Breathing in and exhaling. Our toes flat on the ground, not like this. Inhale. And exhale. We can circle one way and another. And from here, we'll go into downward puppy. It's like child's pose, but our tailbone is up. And this really stretches the back and under the arms. You can put your head to one side and just sort of feel the space between your armpits and the mat drop down. With each breath, the day is done. You can relax and honor yourself for taking time to get a degree and improve yourself. You can inhale, come back to cat-cow, and exhale, and we'll do downward puppy again, but our head to the other side to even out the stretch on the neck. Tailbone to the sky. Feeling our armpits drop. Connecting our breath with a deeper stretch. We'll come back to tabletop and do cat-cow. And push up to downward dog. Here we'll put our knee in and our leg perpendicular, and we'll come back to pigeon, stretching our hips, relaxing our shoulder. You can put your head down if you want, or keep it up, feeling your hip drop. From here, we'll add some strength, come to plank, bring our other leg up and over, and relax into pigeon on the other side. Feeling your body weight stretch you as you sink deeper into this pose. Being aware of not creating tension in your neck. With an inhale, we'll come up to forearm plank and then down to Sphinx pose. In Sphinx, we are tightening our back muscles, tightening our glutes, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing the backs of our legs together, relaxing our neck, really working that back while we're cognizant to not tense up our shoulders. And from here, we can go into child's pose. You can have your legs together or apart, whichever feels more comfortable. You can have your arms forward or behind you. And you'll try to think about your sacrum going down to your heels, but then your arms going forward if your arms are forward, and feeling your body pull in those ways. You can put your one cheek on the mat for 3 breaths and then we'll switch. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Then we'll put our other cheek down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We'll come back up to our pose of the week, cat-cow. And we'll bring our leg up and we'll do lizard pose and really feel the tightness of our hips. It can come up a little bit. Bring it down in Sphinx. We'll push up to dolphin. That's like downward dog, but on our elbows. Bring our arms up to downward dog, our leg in, and we'll do lizard on this other side. Coming down, we'll go on our stomach briefly and push up to locust, really feeling the strength in our back and pushing back up to child's pose. You can rest your forehead on the mat so your neck is long and symmetrical. And we'll take 3 breaths here. 1, 2, 3. Pushing up, we'll do our down, our cat-cow. Noticing how we feel. Pushing up to downward dog, pedaling out our feet. Coming down to up dog. From up dog, we'll come down. Have a few breaths on our stomach, tightening our back, tighten up to locust. And then we'll come back to Sukhasana, or seated position, and see how we feel. So with this, we will continue our stretching and now focus on our lower body. So we can bring one leg out and lean forward at a level that's comfortable. We spent a lot of time with heart openers like this, but now we're going to square our hips towards our straight leg and really stretch the back muscles. A lot of back pain can be avoided with stretching. And we'll just take a few breaths to sink into this. By bending one leg, we can get a deeper stretch into this. And we're increasing our torso flexibility. We'll take 3 breaths here. And we'll come back, shake it out, and we'll do it on the other side. So inhale and exhale, hips square. And feel that tension. Is one side tighter than the other? Are there habits you're doing in the day that you think maybe you're favoring one side or the other? And sort of being aware of that. Because by connecting to our body, if you're having back pain and you notice one side is a lot tighter than the other, then it can start the process of seeing, okay, well, do I pick up my purse with one side. Is that related? And by connecting with where the tightness is, we can sort of backpedal the steps of what we're doing in our daily life to create that unevenness. And then we can change some habits to fix it and feel better. And when you're not thinking about pain, you can think about constructive things, and that helps optimize your daily routine. So we'll take 3 breaths here, really falling into it. 1, inhale. And exhale out the mouth, dropping a little deeper. And inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. And inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. From here, we'll do some work on our back. So we did this the first class. It's one of my favorite poses. You cross your legs, grab your ankles, and this might just be enough for some people. If you want a deeper stretch, you can bring your feet up. And this stretches one side of your hip. While you're here, you can slowly tilt your head to one side and the other, and release tension in your neck. I love this pose for in the morning. If you are someone who uses the snooze button, you can do this stretch in between snoozes, and it's gentle enough that you can sort of like finish your dream if you're half asleep, but it's also invigorating enough that it can help you wake up naturally. And when your body knows that wake up means a really good stretch and a really good release, then that kind of changes your body's reaction to the snooze button. It's a little treat for your body. So we can do a few more neck rolls. And really just feeling the hip of the leg closest to you, stretching the glute, thinking about having the sacrum pointing straight towards, like level with the ground, straight towards the back of the wall. Trying to think of your back as straight, all the little nooks and crannies of your spine just falling evenly. You can pull your chin into your chest and just really try to make a connection with the back of your neck, long against the floor. Using the weight of gravity to stretch you. And I will share a little tidbit. I've been 5'3" my whole life, and I measured myself about a year ago, and I cannot believe it, but I'm literally 5'4", and I really think that yoga has helped with the posture. So I'm like, honestly, I had other people remeasure me. I can't even believe it. So either every pediatrician was wrong, like as I was growing up, and my driver's license for 20 years was wrong, or yoga actually gave me an inch by helping with posture. So it's pretty awesome. Just laying on your back. A lot of people wouldn't think of this as exercise, but this right here, it can do a lot. And you don't need to run 10 miles to feel healthy. You can just get in touch with your breath and do minor movements and feel pretty awesome. With this, we will give our knees a big hug. Come up to happy baby. Side to side, really massaging that spine. With happy baby, our feet are flexed towards the ceiling. Feeling our knees drop towards the ground. Having gratitude for taking the time to serve ourselves, to honor our bodies, to slow down, to check in before racing to nowhere. With this, we can do an invigorating pose, feet up, kind of work the obliques. You can do 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then keeping the neck relaxed, we do 10 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we can just come up for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then opposite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then rest the neck for a little bit so it doesn't have tension. And we'll finish with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hug your legs for 50 little crunches. And we will cross our legs on the other side. Grab your ankles for a little deeper of a stretch. You can pull your legs out like wings. And we'll really stretch this hip. Thinking about our sacrum pointing straight. You can roll your neck side to side. Pulling your chin into your chest, trying to make connection with the back of your neck on your mat. It's an ideal. Don't have tension in your neck. If something feels tense, then make an adjustment so it's relaxed. Feeling your spine sink into the mat. Feeling your shoulder blades have even connection. Using your breath to try to make space in the tight spots. And setting a goal for yourself. What do you seek? And how can positive self-talk help you get it? The stories we tell ourselves shape the way we perceive the world. We can be encouraging to ourselves. And take a moment to think about how you can be your own best friend. How you can be a pillar of strength to energize yourself, to give yourself the courage of each new day, to accept mistakes as lessons learned, to let go of fear and shame and guilt, and just learn from mistakes. Hating yourself for mistakes doesn't make you do better. Acknowledging a mistake and then trying to think about constructive ways to help keep yourself on track, that sets you up for success. So, self-loathing doesn't do anything for anybody. But learning and working towards continual improvement, that is a road to be your best self. And when you're your best self, you're the most productive and positive member of society that you can be. And when you start doing good things for yourself, then that attracts other do-gooders. And that sort of gets you in this positive domino effect. I like to say love is contagious. And when you meet really positive people doing amazing things, you'll notice their friend group is generally very positive and also doing inspiring things. And then that just helps keep up the momentum. So every day is a new day, and we have free will and we have choice, and it's our decisions every day that we make that impact our life. So let's bring our knees in, and we'll roll a little bit side to side. We can roll a little up and down. And we'll drop our knees to one side, our shoulder down, chin straight to the leg, or two, kind of like a scissor. Tilt your head away from the leg that's out. And we'll just take a few breaths here in the spinal twist. So we stretch the spine up and down in cat-cow. And now we're twisting the spine and just really getting all that stretch. In yoga philosophy, they will talk about cleanliness. And one of the analogies is, how do you clean clothes? Do you put perfume on clothes? No. The way you clean clothes is you scrub and you twist and you put it in hot water and you really beat out the dirt. And with our body, really twisting it, that can really release a lot of stuff. And you can think about it as cleanliness. You can think about it as stimulating your metabolism or massaging your organs. There's many different words or frameworks to think about it. But when I do this twist, I think about wringing out a shirt to clean it and scrub it and get all the dirt out, and that sort of gives me a visualization for how we're improving our bodies with this twist. So we'll take 3 breaths here and just feel our shoulder drop in to the ground. You can use this hand on your knee to help encourage it to get more of a stretch here. And inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. And inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. And inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. You can bring our knees in, and we'll straighten one leg, really stretch and stretch. And this is a half happy baby. And in this stretch, we're stretching the top part of our straight leg and our growing. You can lift one arm up overhead and really feel that stretch and the growing of the elongated leg. And breathe into it. Trying to center our hips on the ground. With an inhale, we'll bring our knee up and put our hands underneath. You can put a hand like this and really stretch. We'll hug our legs. And release the other leg. Doing a half happy baby and really feeling this stretch in the groin. Foot flexed. You can lift this arm up if that feels good. You can also have a hand on your stomach to be aware of your breath. And we'll use 3 breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. We'll come in and hug our legs. And do another happy baby and see if we feel like our knees can fall a little more to the ground after we've isolated the sides. And rocking side to side, stretching the spine. With this, we can come down to Savasana, which is corpse pose. And we'll do a little meditation in corpse. You can lift your arms up if that feels good, or rest a hand on your heart, a hand on your hip. If it feels good to you, you can do goddess pose with goalpost arms or cactus arms and feet together. This is an opener. It's nice to do yoga at home on YouTube because sometimes we don't feel as open in a group class. And so by being in a safe environment, you can allow yourself to open up. Allow your knees to drop. To sort of exaggerate this, we can lean to one side and lean to the other. And then back to center. Feeling the connection of our feet touching. You can put some pressure on your legs. Trying to have a flat back. Inhale through the nose and out the mouth. You can feel your feet relax and sort of falling open like an open book with the soles of your feet. You can feel your knees heavy, dropping closer to the ground. Your groin is, okay, somebody turned the lights out on me. But I guess it was good timing with the Savasana. Your groin is stretching and dropping. And, and you feel your lumbar spine dropping closer to the ground. Your neck is making connection a little bit closer to the mat. If you want to do a little self-massage, you can in your shoulder. And you're reminding yourself that you are enough, that we don't need to try to be more than we are. And if we accept our limitations, then we can devise a plan to work towards overcoming them And the acceptance does not mean acquiescence. Acceptance means acknowledging that a certain reality exists. And then with that realism, then you can strategize to set a goal and to create an implementation plan, and then to execute that implementation plan to accomplish the goals that you have set forth. And maybe you'll accomplish it, and maybe you'll learn a lesson of why it worked or didn't work. But we don't know unless we try. And it starts with acceptance, which isn't saying that you agree with how things are. It's just saying that you acknowledge that that's the current state of affairs. So we'll breathe in acknowledgement and knowledge, and we'll exhale all that nervous energy of righteousness and anger and resentment. And we'll inhale feelings of your creativity. We each have infinite creativity. Nobody turns 95 and says, oh shoot, I wish I didn't use up all my creativity in my 60s. Now it's all gone. No. Creativity is never ending. And it's something that the more we draw upon our creativity, it seems like the more accessible it is. So you can breathe in feelings of ownership of your ideas and creativity, a sense of confidence in your own authenticity, and you can exhale feelings of inadequacy, feelings of validation, and inhale feelings of self-validation and intrinsic self-love. And exhale feelings of trying to prove your credibility and feelings of not being good enough. And you can inhale feelings that you are your own best customer, and why not try to serve yourself? Because when you are in a position of completeness, then you're actually more able to contribute to society and to contribute to others. Sometimes we feel guilty for taking care of ourselves, but actually when we're depleted, then we don't have as much to give to others. So we can inhale feelings of abundance and exhale feelings of self-judgment. I'm going to take this next 2 minutes to be a moment of silence where you can concentrate on your breath and focus on the goals that you set forth. Inhale and exhale, feeling your knees drop and your hips open. Reminding yourself that you're your own best friend. Honoring yourself for taking this time to commit to your practice, your degree, and your self-improvement. Inhale and exhale. 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 You're welcome to stay in this posture as long as it serves you. For those that want to end at 9:30, you can use your breath to come to a comfortable side position, fetal position. And when you feel ready, you can slowly lift up to easy seat or Sukhasana. And we'll take a few breaths here together, elongating our head, lowering our tailbone, recognizing our practice. Inhale and exhale. Namaste. May the light in me be the light in you. Thank you for your time today.